Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let's talk some Continental Congress. First and second. First one happened in 1774. Let's talk about who was there. You had the Adams cousins. Samuel Adams was the guy who organized the Boston Tea Party. Surprisingly, John Adams defended the soldiers in the Boston Massacre. He believed that everybody had a fair trial, even the British soldiers. The First Continental Congress met to respond to what was going on in Boston, all the crisis and all the drama. All right, Boston was a big deal. Here's why. The British were very upset about what had happened with the Tea Party. They were mad that the Patriots had dumped all that tea in the harbor. As a result, they came up with the 4 intolerable acts. They closed the port. They put themselves in charge of all of the elected officials in Massachusetts. They forced Massachusetts colonies to let British soldiers live there. That's called quartering. And the Administration of Justice Act. That means that all British soldiers were allowed to go back to Britain for a trial if they were accused of doing something wrong.
All right.
What did the colonies want? Well, they wanted a compromise. They wanted the British to stop the acts and stop the tax. They wanted to be allowed to have their own military. So they sent a top 10 list to the king. Basically, what do they want? They wanted rights like life, liberty, and property. They didn't mind being ruled by England. Basically, they thought, if you treat us right, we won't fight. Well, let's see what King George said. King George said, no. You guys are rebels. We are not making a deal. So as a result, the Continental Congress decided they were going to continue to boycott goods, and also they wanted to get their military ready to fight. All right, shot heard around the world. The Minutemen, they had to be ready on a minute's notice. A British general decided he was going to try and take away all of the Minutemen's weapons in Massachusetts. And the Minutemen were like, no, sir, you're not. If you think you can, come and get them. One thing Americans have always loved are their guns. So April 1775, the weapons and the ammunition were actually stored in Concord. Sons of Liberty sent 3 riders, including the famous Paul Revere, to warn them when the British were coming. All right, Lexington and Concord. There were about 70 Minutemen. There was a much larger British force. The British were forced to march to Concord to try and find the weapons. Well, of course, they didn't find the weapons because all of the colonists had the weapons. As the British were retreating and turning around to go back to Boston, the colonists opened fire. They ended up killing about 250 British. About 100 colonists died in that battle. That was the shot heard around the world. Second Continental Congress. The first one didn't work so well. Here's what we did. We sent what's called an olive branch, which means a request for peace. We said to the king, look, we want to end this drama. We want to end this fighting before more people on both sides get killed. The king said, I want nothing to do with your peace plan. You guys are a bunch of hoodlums. We're going to destroy you. We are also going to hire German mercenaries to fight with us against you. So there was pretty much no going back. The king rejected our peace plan. So the Second Continental Congress, held in May of 1775, they appointed George Washington to head the army. Even though he wasn't a great military strategy guy, his troops believed in him. On July 2nd, we formally declared independence. Thomas Jefferson was in charge of writing the document. He relied heavily on John Locke's social contract. He told the king that you are a tyrant. You're taking our life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness away. We have the right to change the government or abolish it, which means get rid of it if we don't believe in it. They met on July 2nd of 1776. The document was actually signed on July 4th. It gave a clear position and a clear backing for the colonies to rebel. And it basically forced people to choose. It said, you have to decide, are you with us, the colonies, or are you with the king? You can't stay in the middle. That's one of the most famous drawings of the painting, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is 4 minutes and 30 seconds of Continental Congress. Have a great rest of the week.